नियतिकृत नियमरहितां क्लादैकमयीं अनन्य परतन्त्रां नवरस रुचिरां निर्मितिम् आदधति भारती कवेर्जयति. So we're looking at Latanuprasa. There are two types of Latanuprasa. One is Padagataha, the other is Namagataha. In Padagatam, you have Aneka Padagataha, Eka Padagataha. So there were two varieties that we saw. Now we have to look at Namagataha. So Namagataha has three divisions. One is Eka Samasa Gataha, the next is Binna Samasa Gataha, the third is Samasa Asamasa Gataha. I will just share the text so that we go over the Karika and then come back to the chart here. Okay, so here Vrittau Anyatra Tatrava Namnaha Saha Vritti Avrityoscha. This is the Karika there in Kavyaprakasa. So Ekasmin Samase Bhinneva Samase Samasa Asamasayoho va Namnaha Pratipadikasya Natu Padasya Sarupyam. In Latanuprasa, two words have to be the same. They have the same Rupam, Sarupyam. So if I have Kamalani, then there is Kamalani. Like for example, in the Padagatam, we saw Sudhakaraha and Sudhakaraha. But one has a different meaning than the other in the sense there is a shade of difference in that meaning. So Vrittau, again in a shloka, if the words that are repeated are either within one samasa or if it is in two different samasas, or one can be in a samasa, the other cannot be in a samasa, it is just a padam by itself. So we are looking at pratipatikam by itself. We are not looking at a complete sup thing antam padam. It is not, it doesn't have the suffix as yet completely within it. It is only the pratipadikam that we are considering. So for all three, he gives just one example here. Sitakara, kara, ruchira, vibha, vibhakara, akara. Adi idla patru. Vibhakarakara, dharanidhara, kirtihi, paurusha, kamala, kamala, sapi, tavaiva, asti, na anyasya. This is a description of a king here. Vibhakara akara, vibhakaraha, vibham karoti iti vibhakaraha, one who creates the day. So Suryaha. So Vibhakara Akaraha. So one who has a form which is similar to Surya. So Surya Sadrishaha Raja. Iti. So Kimartham Tatra Surya Sadrishaha iti Vaktavyam. Tasya Pratapastu Surya Iva Vartate. Prachandaha Vartate iti. So he is equal to a sun who has a very fierce Pratapa, a luster that he has. So He Vibhakara Akara. Hey Dharanidhara, Dharanidhara is the king, one who protects the earth. So Rajan, Sita Kara Kara Ruchita Vibha, Sita Karaha Chandraha, Tasya Karaha Kiranaha. So Tesham Ruchira Vibha Yasya. So the idea here is your Kirti, Tava Kirtihi, Sita Kara Kara Ruchita Vibha. It has a luster, Vibha. It has a Kanti, which is Ruchira, which is very attractive or very beautiful, like the rays of a moon. So here Sitam is white, Kara is rays. The next word Kara is also rays here. Okay, but then Sita Kara becomes Chandra. He is the one who has white rays. So Chandraha. Sitakarasya karaha. Karanamiva ruchira vibha yasyaha. Yes, kirtihi. So yasya nasti. Yasyaha iti vaktavyam. So in that one, change it to yasyaha. Okay. So Sitakarasya chandrasya karanamiva ruchira vibha yasyaha sa kirtihi. So the your fame is such that it is as white as the rays of the white-rayed moon. The Kara comes within the Samasta Padam itself. It is not complete with its sup thing and all that. You don't have Karaha Karau Karaha Karam Karau Karan iti. You do not put any of the sup pratyayas in this. So it is still standing as a Pratipadikam. That is why it is Namagataha. Yeah, so nama padam here is just the pratipadikam. So only the pratipadika is repeated, which is kara kara. It is still not a full word here because it is part of the samasa. So this is eka samasa gata. Again, next is paurusha kamala kamala. Sa kamala api tavaiva asti na anyasya. The Lakshmi or prasiddha parakrama Lakshmi or samrajya Lakshmi, anything, whose paurusha kamala kamala paurusha Lakshmi rupena ya prasiddha Lakshmi vartate sa Lakshmi api tava eva. So the Lakshmi which is in the form of, so namak epdina Ashtalakshmi ingrom, yeah. So Lakshmi is a representative of all of the extreme or all of the wealth in every department, whether it is santanam or whether it is veeram or jayam, everything we call it as Lakshmi because அந்த செழிப்புங்கிறோம் இல்லையா, அதனுடைய அந்த செழிப்பு இருந்ததுனாலே அது வந்து லக்ஷ்மின்னு சொல்றோம். It is not necessary that it has to be wealth. Some kind of a prosperity either with respect to parakrama or with progeny or with real wealth or Golakshmi iti. If you have a lot of cows, that is also Golakshmi ityeva vaktavya. So that way you take it as Paurusha Kamala here represents the Purusha Akaram that he has, which is the bravery that the king has. So Paurusha Kamala, Parakrama Lakshmi, the wealth of bravery that the king has, that Sa Kamala Api, which is the form in which that Prasiddha Lakshmi is present in this king. So the Prasiddha Lakshmi, which is our goddess Lakshmi, Kamala, she is also called Kamala. She exists in this king as a Paurusha Lakshmi. Okay. Now, Sa Lakshmi hi api tavaiva na anyasya. She is there, exists only in you, or she belongs only to you. She does not belong to any other king. So this is a form of a kavi who is praising the king here. So when we look at eka samasa gata, sita kara kara ruchita vibha. So kara and kara are the two words which are present within one samasa itself, and that is called eka samasa gata, and it is in the form of a pratipadikam here. Now if you look at the next one, bhinna samasa gata, in the first padam you have vibha, in the second padam you have vibha. So the first vibha is with one samasa, the second vibha is with the second samasta padam. So vibhakara, atratu ruchita vibha. But the meaning of vibha in both cases is the same. There is no difference here. Right? It means kanti. There is no difference at all in this case here. Right? Yeah. When you go to the next one, Paurusha Kamala, here the first Kamala is part of the Samasta Padam. The second Kamala is not Samasa at all. It is not in the Samasta Padam. Right? So this is the Samasa, Asamasa Gata. So it is both in the Samasta Padam and it is not, one word is not in the Samasta Padam. So that's how it is here. Okay. So Samasa, Asamasa Gata. Now let me share the text here. And let's see what he said. He doesn't say anything. He moves on to the next one. Tadevam panchadha mataha arthe sati abhinnanam. Now next he goes on to yamkam in this case. This is yamaka definition. So tadevam panchadha mataha. So we saw that it is of 5 types. That is, the first one is Padagataha. Amama. So we saw Padagataha, which is Aneka Padagataha and Eka Padagataha. Namagataha, you look at Pratipadikam here, where it is both Eka Samasa Gata, Bhinna Samasa Gataha, and Samasa, Asamasa Gataha. Actually, if you look at this Kamala, the second Padam Kamala here is a Padam. But this one is in Pratipadikam. And even though one is in Samastapadam, the other is not in Samastapadam, it's okay. It doesn't matter. So, evam Panchadha. So, this is of 5 varieties. Now, we move on to Yamakam. The definition of Yamakam given in the text is Arthe Sati Artha Bhinnanam Varnanam Sa Punashrutihi. Yeah. So, Arthe Sati, when there is a meaning, Arthe Sati, when there is a meaning, but Sati Artha Bhinnanam Varnanam Sa Punashrutihi. Artha Bhinnanam Varnanam ityukte, it need not be like Latanuprasa, where both have the same meaning. What is the repetition set of words? One may have meaning, the other may not have a meaning. It may or may not have meaning. So, Arthe Sati, Bhinnaha Arthaha. There is also different meanings because it connects with different portions of the word. So, that is Yamakam. There is an Avritti, there is a Punashrutihi, but Bhinna Artha Bhinnanam, Bhinnarthakanam Varnanam Sa Purvena Iva Kramena Sthita Punashrutihi. So, Purvena Iva Kramena. We have certain groups of Vyanjanas and Swaras existing in one kind of a format. It is again repeated in the same format, but the meaning may be different in the second format because it is connected with certain different words in the second format. Okay, so now this is called Yamakam. Punashrutihi. Puriyarda?
Ji, first he says Arte Sati, and then he says Artha Bhinnana. Adu oru tharava kuda solrela.
Maybe meaning varrache ungalku example varrache puriyumo namo. I'll just check if he has Sannari Bharana அப்படினு இருக்கு இல்லையா இந்த இடத்துல. So in this case Satu Satinam Narinam Bharanam. Sannu Narinam Bharanam. Sannuங்கிறத தனியா பிரிச்சு விடுறது. Evam Sannu Asti Ityasya Shatru Pratyayam. So there is a separate meaning to these two, but at the same time the meaning is different because you are splitting it in a different manner. It is not like Latanuprasa where the meaning is the same. I will have to split it in the same manner. Kara is Kara. The Kara means Kiranam in both cases. Whereas here, Sannari, Sannari, it is different in both cases. Adu paapom. When we look at the examples, we will understand that. So for now, Arthe Sati, Artha Bhinnanam Varnanam, adilla vardilla, Apagam, Apagam iva. Adilla, that is a Yamakam. Apa, Gam. Apa, Gam. Both are repeated there. But Apaga is a river. Saha Apagam, Apa. He reached. Appadin pirichikrom. Be separated and the meaning is different there. Okay.
This is not got anything to do with Slesha, right? There also we have the same.
Slesha undu. Slesha meaning la vandudru. So the word based Alankara is Yamakam. Slesha has double meaning for one word itself. It is, there are two words there. 2-3 words. Apagam, one word. Apa, Gam, 2 different words. You take Yamakam on the Shabda level, the letters level. There is a repetition of a similar sounding words which have individual meaning, but they are not the same meaning. Apagam and the second Apagam do not share the same meaning. They have different meanings. So, Artha Bhinnanam Varnanam Punashrutihi. Sleshana Apaga iti padasyaiva tatra arthadvayam vartitavyam. நமக்கு அப்படி இல்லையே எங்க இல்லையா? Gamangra padatthirku we find 4 meanings. That is Slesha. So in this particular shloka in Balakandam, there are many Alankaras in that shloka. So Gamangra padatthirku you can find the meaning of Prithivi, normal cow, Surabhi, then you also have Vak, Bharati. So these are the 4 meanings for the word Gam, Apa. he obtained the earth, he obtained vak. So that meaning becomes slesha. ஆனா அந்த actually சப்தசக்தி மூலத்வனியா சொல்லுவார் அந்த இடத்துல. So that becomes the artha level. This is yamkam. Now when you look at the paragraph he has written here, समरसो अयम इत्यादौ एकेषाम् अर्थवत्वे अन्येषाम् अनर्थकत्वे भिन्नार्थानाम् इति न युज्यते वक्तुम् इति अर्थे सति इत्युक्तम्. So समरसोऽयम् इत्यादौ द्वितीयावृत्तिः अर्थ अभावात्. समरங்கிறது ரெண்டு தடவை ரிப்பீட் ஆகுது இந்த இடத்துல. சேதி சரோரச இத்தியாதி வைலக்ஷண்யேன தேனைவ க்ரமேண ஸ்திதா. ஒரு நிமிஷம் வரேன். சோ in this இப்போ என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா समरसः अयम् इत्यादौ एकेषाम् अर्थवत्वे. Now if you split this, where is the yamaka here? Where is the confusion of yamaka? It is not yamaka. This is an example of where yamaka will not apply. Yamaka can apply only in a case where there is a repetition of words and the repeated words should exist on its own with the meaning. If that is not the case, then you will have to take it as only anuprasa. You cannot take it as yamaka. That is why he says artha binna artham. Arthe sati. There should be a meaning for both sets of words, but there is a different meaning for it. If there is a same meaning, then it is lata anuprasa. If there is no meaning, then it becomes normal anuprasa. Cheka anuprasa and the madri vandru ungalku. Okay. So समरसः अयम् कश्चन राजा अत्र. So अयम् राजा समरे समः रसः प्रीतिः. He has a constant kind of rasa, preeti, with respect to yuddham, with respect to battle. So समरसः अयम् राजा इत्यादौ ekesham arthavatve api. Ekesham ityukte only the first samara has a meaning. Anyesham, when you take, so this is the first samarasa. Now here samara, the second samara is halfway, you are breaking it within the padam here. So anyesham, in the second half, anarthakatve, there is no meaning here for this. Bhinnarthanam iti na yujyate vaktum. So we cannot say that it has two different meanings here. It is not possible. So arthe sati ityuktam. That is why we have mentioned in the lakshana of yamakam that there should be a meaning for both sections properly. In the second one should also have the same meaning, but it should have a different meaning. It should be meaningful, but it should have a different meaning. Ipo when we say sitakara kara, for example, அந்த இடத்துல வந்து sitakara is chandra, and the second kara, instead of taking it as kiranam, if we take it as tax, hand kuda paravalla, you know, it is the hand is the kiranam is the hand for the moon. So adnala that won't fit. Let's take it as tax. Vaddi idu karam solrom illaya. So the moon's tax, for example, you know, just hypothetically, then that will become yamakam. That will not be lata anuprasa. Kara and kara have two meanings. It can exist with the meaning. At the same time, it has different meanings. Appoda yamaka. Sariya? So ekesham, in this example, ekesham arthavatve api, even though one samara has a meaning, anyesham, the second samara is actually part of the word samarasa, so it does not have a meaning. Hence this is not yamaka. Seti saro rasa ityadi vailakshanyena tenaiva kramena sthita abdingra. So saro rasa ityasti, it is a reverse. Sa and ra are parity potrukku ungalku, it has been reversed into ra and sa. Aduvum it is not yamaka. So it should be in the tenaiva kramena. It should exist in the same krama that you see the first time. Okay. So this is as far as the definition goes. Now he is going to go into the divisions of yamakam. Pada tadbhaga vritti tadyati anekata. So pada vritti, tadbhaga vritti, iti, there are two types initially. Idu mottam ekkachaka varieties varaporthu. Okay, yamaka. So pratamaha dvitiyado, dvitiyas tritiyado, tritiyas chaturthe, pratamas trishvapi iti sapta. First 7. Pratamaha dvitiye, tritiyas chaturthe. So this entire thing will not at all make sense here. 1 minute. Let me just go to my chart. If I don't put the chart, I can't understand it. That's why. Yamakam is of two types, pada vritti and tadbhaga vritti. Now, what is a padam? In a shloka, you have first pada, second pada, third pada, and fourth pada. That is how I have split these blocks here. Okay. Now, take the first padam for example. When the first pada is the same with the second pada, that is the first variety. Pratamaha dvitiye. The pratamaha tritiye. Pratamaha chaturthe. Apre, whatever is there in the vritti, I have just written it here in this format so that it's easier to understand. The first is the same as the second, first is the same as the third, or first is the same as the fourth. Either way. When you take second, second is the same as third, second is the same as fourth. And then third is the same as the fourth. Ipdi varno. And then now, trishu. Pratamaha, the first, is the same as second, third, and fourth. All four padas are the same. This is the next variety. So totally there are 7 varieties in this first section. Now I have given some names here, which is given in the Vyakhyanam for Kavyaprakasa. So sometimes your material may mention this or it may not mention. It doesn't matter. Okay. But our idea...
for me.
So they have mentioned all this, which means they have taken it completely from Jalkikar Vyakyanam. That's all. So the first one and the second one are this. All of these varieties have been given by Kavyaprakasa, Kavya Darsha in Dandi. So they are written by Dandi. He has given an example for most of these varieties of Yamaka. So we can look at that. If you have an interest, you can look at that text. So now we have just 7 varieties with respect to Padagatam. When we go to Padagatam Sankirnam, Sankirnam angarche, both exist. See, if you look at the earlier one, Pratamaha Dvitiye only is present. Only if the first and the second are equal, the third and fourth are completely different. Then it is the Padagatam which is Asankirnam, which is not mixed at all. Now when we go to Sankirnam, you are looking at the first and the Pratamaha Dvitiye. First is repeated in second, third is repeated in fourth. This is one variety. The next, if you look at it, the first is repeated in fourth and second is repeated in 3. This is one variety. Both should exist. This is the 9th variety. In the 10th variety, Ardha Avrittihi, Pratamaha Tritiye Dvitiyaha Chaturthengra. So in the first is repeated in third and second is repeated in fourth. Okay, so which means this is Ardha Avritti. 1 and 2 are the same. One entire line is repeated again in the second line. This is Ardha Avritti. Half of the shloka is repeated in the second half also. You understand? So this is different. 8, 9 is different from 10. So 10 and 11 are the different form. So Mahayamakam is actually the same shloka is written again. Shloka Avritti. The same 4 padas are written again as 4 padas, but the meanings are different for both shlokas. So this is Sankirnam, where you are combining the first 7 in different formats and getting this 4. So totally we have 11. Now we go to Tadbhaga Gatam. I think he has dealt with this also, and then only he goes with the idu ஒரு நிமிஷம் இங்க பாத்துறலாம். So இது வரைக்கும் என்ன பார்த்தோம்? பிரதமஹ த்விதீயாதோ द्वितीयस्त्रितीयादौ तृतीयः चतुर्थे प्रथमस्त्रिषु अपि इति सप्त प्रथमः द्वितीये तृतीयश्चतुर्थे प्रथमश्चतुर्थे द्वितीयस्तृतीये इति द्वे 8 and 9 पातों. Then तदेवं पादजं नवभेदं, there are totally 9 plus 2 more, which is ardhavritti shlokavritti च iti dve. So there are 2 more. So 9 plus 2 is 11. Now dvidya vibhakte pade pratamadi padadi bhagaha purvavat dvitiyadi padadi bhageshu antabhagaha antabhageshu iti vimshatir bhedaha shlokantarehi na asau bhagavrittihi trikhande trimshat chatushkhande chatvarimshat. Okay, now இது அப்படியே இதுல பாப்போம் what he means by that ங்கிறது. Now look at the shloka itself. When we looked at the padam, we had the first pada, second pada, and third pada, fourth pada. Now split it into two. The first pada has 2 portions. Let's say it is 8 aksharas. You have 4 aksharas repeating in 4 aksharas. The first 4 aksharas repeating in the first 4 aksharas of the second pada. The first 4 aksharas of the first pada repeating in the third pada, first 4 aksharas. So that's how you have to connect it here. So dvida vibhakte vimshatir bedaha. When you first split it into 2, 1a and 1b, then you have how many here? Prathama padadi gatani gata antya ardha addadi bhagaha dvitiya padadi gate adyadi. Idu onnulla. Shuddha bedas are 7 totally, like the first one. Like the padagatam, in the same way, 1 goes with 2, 1 goes with 3a, 1a goes with 4a. Ade 2a goes with 3a, 2a goes with 4a, 3a goes with 4a. Then 1a can be there in 2a, 3a and 4a. Supera? 7. These are the Shuddha Vedas. Now when we go to Sankirna Vedas, we have to do the same thing here. 1a with 2a, 3a with 4a. So only this and this are repeated. Okay. Now this becomes one Veda. 1a 3a and then 2a 4a. These two are common. These two are common in a shloka. Then, so when I say 1a 3a, the rest are all different in the Shuddha Vedam. When I say 1a plus 3a are the same in the Shuddha Veda, the rest will be different. Whereas in the Sankirna Veda, 1a should be equal to 3a, 2a also should be equal to 4a. Then only I can call it as a Sankirna Veda. Then half shloka is repeated. The same you can have as half shloka is repeated, where 1a is the same, 1a and 2a is repeated in 3a and 4a. You have and 1b should be the same as 3b, 2b should be the same as 3b also. So that when you do this, you have 10 varieties. I am looking only with 1a. When we look at 1b, there are another 10 varieties also. So you have 20 varieties when you split a pada into 2. When you split a pada into 3, I can also split it into 3, 1a, 1b, 1c nu potukalam. Or I can have a, b, c, d. Adiketa madri, you just add 10, 10. Is that clear? So tridha vibhakte trimshat, chaturdha vibhakte chatvarimshat, so totally 40. Now he just gives one example. He just gives one or two examples, I think, here. I'm not even going into that paragraph here because it's much easier with my chart. அது பிடிச்சுக்கிறதுக்குள்ள அப்படியே கட்டு சன்னாரி பரணோமாயம் ஆராத்ய விதுஷேகரம் சன்னாரி பரணோமாய ததஸ்த்வம் பிருத்திவீம் ஜய. Hey Nari, hey Rajanna. So this is an address to the king here. Sannari bharanaha bharana uma ayam sorry. நான் இது பார்த்தேனா இல்லையா பார்க்கல, ஒரு நிமிஷம்.